In fact, you know, I've been playing pool since I was like 6 or 7 years old, and I just turned 75. So a lot of the things that I'll be teaching, you know, are almost second nature to me because I really have played so long that I don't even have to think about stuff. And that's what we want to help you develop. You know, get to a point where you're enjoying pool, making shots, getting the cue ball where you need, to the point where you don't have to think about every little movement. Like, is my right shoulder on the line? Is my hand relaxed on the cue? You know, all these little details. That's the one thing I want to warn you when you learn something brand new. It takes a while for it to take. In other words, there's a learning curve when you learn new things about pool. Like a lot of people I notice, one of the biggest problems in pool is the grip on the cue.
So I say that about my son.
Now, just to give you an idea, you can follow along with my lead. But if I just stand here relaxed with my hands on my side, this is exactly how your grip should hang, whether you're left-handed or right-handed. You'll notice as I stand here and I lift my arm up and down, it's on a line with my shoulder, my elbow. So basically, the grip on the cue is a relaxed hand, the thumb and the pointer finger going down like this. And then I bring it up here like this. In other words, you want to be able to grip the cue so it's completely relaxed. Pool is a non-tension sport. It's not, when you try to grab on too tightly to the back of the cue will go up and down a little bit more. But you notice if I have a nice, smooth, easy grip, I call it a cradle. Cradle is probably the best way to describe it. In other words, just cradle the cue like this. So my thumb and my finger go under the cue like this. So when I swing it back, look what happens. It stays level. It doesn't come up. And that's a key component to a good stroke. Because when you're relaxed, when your grip is nice and loose, you take the cue all the way back. And as you go through on your fourth stroke, you'll notice it actually releases. It slides through my hand like that. And that's what gives you that power or speed that you want to get when you're hitting the ball really hard. Anyway, you know, a couple of things I want to for sure do today is get to know each other. And I'll be doing like a 20-25 minute lesson here. And then I'll break you up into partners and you'll get to practice with a few of the drills that I give you. And you know, every class I have, people get more advanced and less advanced. And that's okay, because we can learn from each other. Right? Now, I do want to mention we have several veterans here. In fact, Chuck and Brad are instructors as well. And they made a science of learning all the aspects of pool. So they're going to be helping us all throughout the class. And since I can only be in one place at one time, when we break you up into teams and partners to do some of these drills, Brad and Chuck will be coming on and helping you. So that, you know, we'll kind of introduce each other. Why don't we do that right now? What I'd like to do is have you tell me your name and maybe something, what you consider an area that you need to improve in your pool. And we'll start over here with Dale.
Well, my name's Dale French. So I'm a novice at pool, so I have a great opportunity to improve everything.
Okay. And you've only dabbled in pool for a little bit?
Yeah, I really don't know what I'm doing.
All right.
My name's Judy Flanagan. I'd like to improve on focus, consistency, aim, just like Dale, love everything.
Pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And I like the word you use, focus. you know, the more you can actually focus as a pool player, able to concentrate is really a key component.
My name's Tim, Jean's husband. I've been playing pool since the late 70s in college, and I'm on a lifelong quest to improve my shot making.
All right. Sounds good.
I'm Bradley. I started playing when I was about 12 years old. Tom over here said, you know, life got better.
So our meter's not actually here yet, because we have.
But I really need to improve my stroke and everything else. If you don't focus,
And then we have
you lose everything.
And, you know, I like what Brad said about kicking and banking, because that's become a real important part of pool now. The rules in pool now dictate that if you scratch or foul, your opponent gets ball in hand anywhere you take it, which has changed the game drastically now. It makes it even more important to be able to bank accurately and kick when you're behind the ball. You know, like a lot of times in 8-ball, you'll be, you know, a situation like this where there's only one solid left on the table, and you've got to go into a real. You know, we'll actually learn a little bit about that, because there's a lot of systems that help us learn how to kick accurately a lot.
I'm Tom Transier. I played a lot of pool when I was younger,
Yeah.
and now we moved into a community with that has a pool table, a clubhouse. So I just started playing a couple months ago again, and I always thought of myself as a good pool player, but that was 30 years ago.
Okay.
So I've tried to get reintroduced and learn from the basics. I've never had a pool lesson, and I'm just looking forward to starting from the beginning.
All right, sounds good. Welcome. And Kathy.
Yeah, I'm Kathy. First time in my life I picked up a pool cue was at Pete's class in the springtime. And from the very first day, I loved it. It was like a karma thing. And I've been practicing, like I tell everyone, because my grandson thinks it's so cool, Grandma. And he's just starting to learn too, so we're on equal levels. But I absolutely need still lots of help on everything, but what I really have a hard time on is breaking, because every time I break, my cue ball goes straight into one of the corner pockets. Boom, it's a perfect shot if it wasn't for the wrong ball, you know. And then of course the banking, I've been able to do a couple great bank shots, totally by accident. I have no idea what I was doing, but it's like, oh my God, that's great. So anyway, yep, I'm ready to practice and learn some more. So I practiced over the summer, and now I know how to hold the cue. I don't know about perfect, but way better than in the springtime. I didn't even know which end was up. You know?
Oh, you made a lot of progress in class.
I don't know.
I'm Chuck. Pieces I help him out on this. I took this class one time and I won it in a tournament, and a certificate. So I took it, and then I took it again on my own, and then I didn't have to do quite a bit. I've been struggling with one thing. Brad caught it the other night when I was playing. I've been shooting like 50%. That ain't my game. What it was, I was gripping the damn stick like I don't know what, and I loosened up, and I won my next 3 games. Just by getting the right grip on the shaft, the stick.
Yeah, Chuck and Brad are excellent teachers and know the details, so we're lucky to have so many good.
My name's Nyla, and I also started to learn.
Yeah.
They're all kids class, and I'm on and off, don't practice much. I love the game most kicking shots, bench shots,
All right, let's get started. Two areas that I like to begin with, and I like to use examples when I teach things as well. But you know, every sport, it could be hunting, tennis, golf, you name it. You have a pre-shot routine, a kind of routine that you do every time before you take a shot, like when you shoot a free throw or make a putt or serve. And you notice one thing about all the best players in all the different sports. What is it about their pre-shot routine that's kind of universal to all the good players do? What would you say?
It's consistent, same thing.
Yeah. And that's your comfort zone. You know what I mean? It makes you feel comfortable with the shot. And sometimes you're in a hurry. You get down too quickly before you really sight the shot, or find the aim point or the target line. And, you bypass your pre-shot routine. It's so important. In every shot, if you follow that routine, you'll be much more likely to be able to be successful. Now, the first drill I'm going to give you is pretty straightforward. We're just using regular ball. But when you work with your partner, the first drill, all I want you to do is put the ball on the spot and shoot the ball into the corner pocket. But before you do that, let me just kind of demonstrate what a good pre-shot routine is. First of all, you want to maintain relaxation of your shoulders. So I always say, breathe and relax. And throughout sport, breathing is important. Because when your breath is suppressed and you're not taking full breaths, you tend to get more lethargic and lazy. But when you breathe correctly, in other words, good posture and all that, you'll notice your blood cells get oxygenated and almost euphoric. And that's important. So breathe and relax. And the next thing is to visualize. I visualize this cue ball going straight into the pocket down there. All right. Now, on my pre-shot routine, breathe and relax, visualize. Now, the first step is to get the body in the correct position. We call that correct alignment. Now, my way of doing that might be different than yours, but the key is that I need to have a position where my cue arm, my left hand, my right hand, my right elbow, and right shoulder are all on the same line. Now, we use our eyes to get in the proper position. In other words, I'm looking from behind. I'm doing the hard work while I'm standing up. And I'm seeing the line from the cue ball to the center of the pocket. Now, to be able to get my body in the correct position, I want to keep my head there. And as I take my stance, my first movement will be right toe on that line. Left foot forward and swing down. But you notice as I swing down in the shot, the left hand, the right elbow, and the right shoulder are all on the same line. And notice I'm taking my time. Now, probably one of the biggest errors that people make is when they're shooting a shot in pocket billiards, they get down immediately. And they're maybe way off to one side, so they start adjusting back and forth like this. That's the worst that they do. You should be able to find your target line and aim point while you're standing up above the shot. My eyes are directly on the target. Breathe and relax. Right toe on the line. In this whole position, left hand, cue, right elbow, and shoulder. Swing down as my left foot goes forward. One motion. Like that. And then when I get down in the shot, sometimes I might be off to one side or the other. Stand back up. In other words, I want you to just practice
So this stuff right here.
getting down in the shot so you don't have to adjust when you play. If you're too far off to one side, it's not good to move your cue like this. Because that throws everything off your shoulder and your arm. So, real quick review.
Not, because these are all up. That's what
And
makes
you'll notice I'm feeling pretty good because every time I've gotten down, my tip is on the center, and I can go straight through. And I can use the spot to make sure my cue is going straight. And I know this is fairly basic,
Yeah. Oh, did you bring a balloon so I'm gonna have
but it's a really good drill number one. It's just a practice. Laying the cue down on your pre-shot routine. So to the point where you don't even stroke it, you just basically get down to make sure you're on that cue. So what I like to do on drill number one is just practice getting down to the shot. Slow stroke. You'll see what I'm confirming there is I'm getting down without having to adjust anything. So my body is correctly aligned with my body. Now, after you can do that about 5 times, then I'm going to ask you to actually shoot the ball in the park. Really relax, visualize. Right toe on the line, swing down. Now, when you're ready to pocket these, you want to do your warm-up strokes like this. And that's your way of lasering in, and I feel real confident I'm right on the line.
So I'm going to have you, Sarah,
And then stroke
I'm going to have her
through
shot you
like
right
that.
now and watch everything on.
So make about 5 or 6 of those like that.
Today was kind of a,
You know, just as a drill to make sure
before we're actually
the
open.
pre-shot routine is down, so when you get on the shot,
Oh, I got Peggy coming in too. You gotta turn so.
it's perfectly aligned. And get feedback. Are you hitting one side or the other? And adjust. Don't be worried about adjustments. When you get offline one side or the other, make sure that your feet are now aligned.
All the same
The
time.
feet, just a slight movement of the feet, watch what happens. Everything turns. So you want to make sure you have clearance on your side of your body. As you swing down, the cue is falling right in the line like that. Make some nice warm-up strokes and just let the cue go. So make about 5 or 6 of those. Now, drill number 3.
Can I ask a question
Yeah,
first?
go ahead.
What do you consider the optimal head height when you're aiming up, preparing to shoot the ball? And are there any instances over the course of the game where you might choose to hold your head higher or lower?
Yes. It's gonna go up and down because a lot of times you have awkward cue ball positions. You have to shoot over a ball or something like that. But you know, an easy shot like this,
You're gonna run out.
you know, where it's fairly basic and straight in. You notice my bridge is going to be closer to the ball, isn't it? And I don't really need a whole lot of stroke. Let's say I have a shot where I have to impart more power and so forth. My stroke is going to be a lot longer. And my head position is going to be a little bit further away from the cue ball. And I actually have more backswing. So often the head position will be dictated by the type of shot you take. Now, in cuts, you know, if I'm cutting the 3-ball inside pocket here, I want to keep my cue, my head a little bit higher here because I want to get a better perspective of the cut itself. Now, if I have a long, straight-in shot like this, I want to get it right over the shaft so I can see it as clearly as possible. It's going to vary, you know, just the nature of the game because there's so many different kinds of shots. and just, get feedback. Sometimes the head position higher would give you a better perspective, sometimes not. All right, drill number 3, and this one was invented by Brad a long time ago. Let me get one of my, that's fine. This one's kind of fun because it puts a little pressure on you. This one we're going to do 2 things. We're going to start out with 2 intervening balls before we shoot. We're going to do our entire routine.
Right. What do you guys score
Right
that?
toe on the line, swing down, one movement.
No, I know.
Now, one of the things that happens, and a lot of you will kind of feel this, that often that we shoot a shot in pocket billiards, we're anxious to see what happens. Did it go in? Or did it not go in? All right? And what happens for a lot of players, they'll get down in the shot, but they'll be in such a hurry that cue pops up in the air like this because the head lifts up. It's kind of the same thing in putting and golf. You can sometimes, do that. You're too in a hurry to see what happens with the putt. This is a drill to help you learn how to get rid of that. But again, drill number 3, we're going to pocket that 14 ball in the corner pocket. But we're going to test our stroke in our follow through. As we lay the cue down, and trust me, that looked easy, but it's not as easy as our tendency is to do that cue pocket. And if you do that, that means your head is moving during the stroke, which throws everything off. Let's do that one more. And again, when you're working with your partner, let's stress that pre-shot routine. The one thing that I look for when I watch somebody's pre-shot routine, are they taking their time and addressing the cue ball? In other words, from up here, I've already visualized the shot. Got my right toe on the line. Notice how I turn my body. And then my left foot forward, swinging down. I know the cue is being laid right on that target. Take a few warm-up strokes like this. And I'm going to be doing a lot of working with them. The next thing I'd like to cover is the cut shot. Now,
Tom had a question.
oh good. Yeah.
When you're playing, are you that deliberate with your aim? I know how it's second nature when you play, and you're demonstrating now. But when you're ready to hit, are you that deliberate with your aim?
Well, that's a good question. Because I've been playing so long, I probably do all these things in a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Whereas when I'm demonstrating it to a group of students, it's a little different. I want to take my time. And for some of you, you're developing a good pre-shot routine for the first time. And it really is important that you take that extra moment and be patient. Because it's such a hard tendency to avoid trying to get the shot over, even when you don't feel right. And that's the psychological part of it too. A lot of times we shoot the shot before we're ready. And we end up making a poor backstroke and hurry to follow through and jab. Yeah, go ahead, Brad.
As an observer, someone's watching, he still does the routine, but it's more like this. Because, you'll see him up here. You'll see him up here like this, and you know, he spends a lot of time looking. Then when he right foot forward,
She's the one that will tell you.
and he does. Faster than what he's doing, but everything he's saying is incorporated in what he's doing.
Yeah, I do.
It's more natural. Just like, you know, I've been doing it a long time. I don't spend as much time, but you know, I'm taking some private lessons with Peter right now, and I can tell you that slowing down, making sure that you're looking at that shot, the pre-shot routine, you know, it's helped me tremendously, especially this last week. But yeah, to get on that line and step forward, once you've done the slow stuff, and it becomes ingrained. Yeah, it's not much slow.
Well said, Brad. And the best players in the world, they look what they're flowing. Okay. In fact, it's I would say at least Willie must be the greatest pool player, one of the greatest of all time, 15-time world champion. He looked like a dancer out there, smoothly going through this shot. It's not something that's herky-jerky. It's almost like a flowing. Like when I'm playing my best pool, I'm just. Everything relaxed, just letting the key go. That's probably one of the most important things you can learn in the class, is that the pool stroke is not a hitting or a muscle. Did you see how smoothly I went through the ball? That's because my hand was totally relaxed. And it allowed the cue to finish the follow through, to literally go all the way through. And you'll be amazed at how much more power and spin you can get on a cue ball through a relaxed stroke than you can by a hit. It's not a punch.
Stay down so the ball pockets again. Notice he stays down on his shot.
Yeah.
Balls in the pocket.
I should have said that.
Right. Jump up, rushing your shots.
There's a lot you can count to 3,000. Some people do. Some people just wait till they hear the sound of the ball pop. Then you're free to rise up. And again, these little things that you adapt to your pool game will show dividends later on. Because when you know, some of you might want to play in leagues, you might want to play in a tournament, these type of things. And that's where you're in the fishbowl, you're under pressure, people are watching you, you get nervous and all that. That's where your pre-shot routines really kicks in. Very good. I do want to cover a little bit on aiming so you can practice making some object balls. But what you could do is simply put an object ball on the spot like this, so you can put it in the same place every time. So we'll put the cue ball about right here, and you can put it on the other side, it really doesn't matter. But what I'd like to do is explain how you make a cut shot. I know for the beginners here, this is very enlightening. First thing I do when I have a cut shot is I come behind the 10, and I literally see exactly where the contact point is to make the 10 in the pocket. But then I come back to the cue ball, and you might think I aim at the contact point, but I don't. Now, the contact point is right here. If I aim at that point, the cue ball will hit here, and I'll hit it way quicker than I should. Now, one thing I want you to remember, and in fact I'll point the strike towards the center of the pocket. And you can see the contact point a little clearer here. It's right there. When I come back behind the 10, I'm going to imagine ghost ball. Now, you've heard of that. That's one system. Now, that ghost ball would be a ball that you imagine that contacts that contact point right behind it, so you pocket the 10 in the corner pocket. So basically, when I come back around the cue ball, I aim at the center of the ghost ball, which is a half ball behind the contact. In fact, I've actually seen players do this. They'll come over here, they'll put their tip a half ball behind that, come back behind the cue ball, like this.
Is that legal?
It is legal. Yeah, I've seen a few
You just can't mark the table.
Yeah.
With chalk?
Yeah, I think if you use the body of the barrel, that would be just do it like that, and then come back like this. And then from here, it's back to the pre-shot routine. Right foot on the line, swing down. And again, if you're offline, go ahead and start over all the way to the right toe, swing down. And stay down till you hear that ball go back at the top. And what I'd like you to do, if you have time, is just try a bunch of different cut shots from both angles. Because in a real pool game, you got to get used to different shots from different sides. Now, trust me, when you cut a ball to the left, it actually looks different from when you cut a ball to the right, because we have a dominant eye. And I'm not going to explain that right now. That's a long explanation. But you'll notice it. And those of you that have played a lot with Tim, maybe would have a favorite side because of the dominant eye. Yeah.
When you're in your right foot, is it like the toes up or at the very end of your right foot?
You know what? Since our bodies are all different, it could be anywhere on the right. Because, some of us are left eye dominant, some of us are right eye dominant. When you get down over the shot, you've got to trust your eyes from up here. And when you put your right, for me, it's my right big toe. For somebody else, it can be the middle of their foot. But you don't want to cross it. Okay. Because this allows the body to be at a 45-degree angle. So when you step into the shot, you have clearance. But all our bodies are different, so it's going to be slightly variable.
So what you're lining up with on the ghost ball is the center of the ghost ball.
Exactly.
Not the aim point that you think of.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, if I have a straight end shot, it is the. But the neat thing about the ghost ball aiming system is that it doesn't matter where the cue ball is, does it? No matter if I put it here, here, the aim point's still the same, right? Because you're aiming at the center of the ghost ball. And after a while, I say the ghost ball is like something that you use for a while and then let it go. Just try to imagine doing all those machinations in your mind on every shot. It's a way of finding a reliable system, but at some point, it becomes blatantly obvious where you call that automatic. After you've played enough and pocketed enough balls, you need to think about all those things. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't use the ghost ball technique typically.
Yeah.
I try and achieve the contact point, hit the contact point with the contact point on the cue ball. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And the problem I have with that is I find myself wanting to, go up over so I can look straight down where the two balls are colliding to make sure I've got the contact point right, and that's the difficult part for me. And I'm still trying to get there.
Well, that's another, there's tons of aiming systems. If you get on YouTube, you could spend the next 2 years seeing videos about aiming systems. But the one that a lot of people use is they see the contact point here. You parallel shift the cue ball to the side like this, and that's the part of the cue ball that contacts the contact. That's
Say that
another
again?
Yeah.
Say that again?
Okay. The contact point's right here to the pocket. I parallel shift like this to the cue ball. This is the part of the cue ball that has to contact, and you match them up. That's another analysis. That one, you have to use it. It's a little bit more complicated.
But you always hit the cue ball right in the middle, don't you?
Absolutely. Very well said, Kathy, because one thing you're going to notice when you start some of these drills that I gave you in the beginning, if you're not hitting the cue ball in the center, you're going to see, in fact, I encourage you to use a slide ball because it'll show more clearly if you're putting left or right English on the ball or not. And if you are, that throws the cue ball off and makes it curve.
So what is right and left English?
All right. Watch the 12 ball. This time I'm going to purposely mishit it to the left side. You see it curving like this? That was left, spinning around clockwise.
So you're saying that's when you don't hit it in the middle of the ball?
And that throws.
So that's called an English. If you don't hit it in the middle, you hit it on the right or left of the cue ball.
Yeah.
Now if
Right, left spin.
Yeah. Now if I do the same thing and I hit the right, that would be called right English. And you notice that the spins counterclockwise. Now there are purposes for using that. But for those of you that are beginning, I don't want you to even think about it until we get to lesson number 4 or 5. All right. Any other questions? One of the things I do want to say before I break down the parts is that, the main thing about pool that people often ask me, well, what's the most important thing about learning to play pool better at a higher level? And I always tell them the same thing. Passion and desire.
Patience.
Yeah, and patience. And I know Tim is a very passionate player. And he, it becomes almost like something that desperately want to bring. That's what it takes, because you got to have the stick-to-itiveness to keep practicing and make the adjustments in your game with your youth. Watch YouTubes, play in the tournament, get in the game. In other words, when you start doing all those things, you're getting now, the worst thing that can happen is you get obsessed with winning. That to me, I've seen many cases of that, where you become so obsessed with winning that you get burned out. All right? Having fun is a crucial, important part of playing. And if you're not having fun, I would say just find some other thing to do. Because pool is hard. It's very challenging. And you gotta be willing to take baby steps to really advance stuff. And the beauty of it, the sport is that you play at any age. I've been playing since I was 5 years old. And I remember the first time I went up with my parents' attic with a 9-foot table. And I probably spent hours just rolling these beautiful colored balls around the table like this. And I was totally fascinated by the game. And now I fast forward 65, 70 years later, I still feel the same. So it's a game that you can pursue your entire life but never master. Not even the greatest players in the world will tell you that they've mastered this game. It's so hard and so complex. But that's what makes it great, is how being said. Any last minute questions before we break up? Okay, let's go at it. And go ahead and pick a partner to work with. Chuck and Brad now come around, and we have just the right number. We can do two, or however you want to do it, Tom and Tim, Kathy and Dean.
Yeah.
All right, just grab any one of these 5 tables and come around and help out. Yeah, we can do that.
Time that. You're not shocking,
Oh, I'll play. Oh, good. Let's do it. This table looks open.